guys, it's the girl with wings here and welcome to another video. So in today's video I will be doing kind of like a recap like I did for Peru, but with Austria and Switzerland since we just got back. And I'm sorry that it took so long for this video. I've been kind of procrastinating, but I hope you enjoyed it, find it informational, and yeah. So first of all, I wanted to start out with Austria. Here we go. With Austria, overall I was really happy with it and I had a fun time and I really enjoyed it there. We didn't really leave Vienna, but I liked Vienna. It was a really pretty city, so I enjoyed it a lot. That was my overall impression. Now, for the highs for the trip, there was a lot. One of my overall highs for Austria was Vienna. It was just such a historical European city. Like, when you think of like the European cities, Vienna is what it is. Like, all the classic buildings and all of that stuff. I obviously have a video on there, but to me it was just really pretty and historical, and it was cool in the square to see all of the different museums and the castles right next door to each other. And I just really thought that was really cool. Was taking our time. We didn't rush through it at all. Like, in the mornings we didn't rush either, which I guess isn't the greatest because sometimes we didn't get out till like 10 or 11 in the morning and everything closes at like 5 or 6. But it was actually nice because we didn't rush at all. We went to the castles and took our time, and afterwards we would just walk from place to place. And it was just really nice not having to be at a certain place at a certain time. There's only one day in the entire trip where we actually had somewhere we had to be at a certain time, which was our tour for Budapest. That was the only thing we had actually planned. Otherwise, it was all just walk on in stuff, which I really enjoy, taking our time. It's always so much nicer. One of my other highs was actually on our first full day in Austria. We had at nighttime walked to an amusement park in Vienna, which wasn't far from our hotel, and they have a really cool authentic restaurant there. I'm going to try to pronounce it. I'm going to absolutely butcher this, I know. Schweizerhaus. It was actually really good. My mom and I had Wiener Schnitzel, and that was the first time we ever had it, and I'm like, oh wow, this actually tastes really good. I don't remember what my dad got, but it was really good there, and there's a lot, you're sitting outside, it's just a cool place outside, and you have the amusement park right across from you so you can see all that stuff, and it was really good. Like, it was really good. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was just some nice family time. It was a spare of the moment thing, traditional Viennese food. Yeah, it was another really high cool. From the trip was actually just a full day. I think it was our second day in Austria. It was a rainy day, but it was a really nice day. It was stood out very much in my mind. We just walked around. Like, we got there kind of late. It was the day we went to the Imperial Palace, Hofburg Palace, and it was raining, but we got to do a lot of inside stuff. Like, we just walked around there for a while, and after that, it lightened up outside enough to where we could go walking around. We walked the streets a little bit more, and then we went to this one cafe called Cafe Central. Okay, it's more of a dessert place than it is like a cafe, restaurant, but it was so good. I mean, like, chocolate galore. You could order just anything chocolate, and it was delicious. We each got two different things, and they were all so good. I really enjoyed that. That was nice. It was just a nice little way to beat the rain, too. And we got to walk around a lot more, and we saw the square, and we found a museum, which actually was huge, and we saw the Egyptian exhibit, and then I think it was another one, Habsburg Secret Treasures or something like that. That was really cool too. It was so big too. I don't think we even saw it all. Like, it just kept going for so long. Yeah, that was just really cool. It was a fun family day. Well, it was all family days, but it was one of my favorite days on the trip, just for the fact that just really enjoyable. So for the lows part of it, I really don't have any actual lows, but I figured I would come up with some things that were like unexpected or just some things that weren't the greatest, but I really don't have any low points of the trip. First off was that we actually did not leave Vienna at all. We just stayed in the city, which wasn't bad, but I've seen pictures and videos now of the rest of Austria, and we're like, man, I wish we would have rented a car and drove out for a while. That was one of the bummer things about that, but we may go back again now because we want to see the rest of it. It was nice just kind of like getting used to stuff there. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer because we were there, but we didn't leave Vienna. So another big one was we don't speak German, and we didn't expect every single thing to be in German there. I mean, yeah, out in the streets I expected pretty much a lot of that stuff to be German, but the hotel and the airport and the tourist stuff was all German. I was not expecting that. It was like, you can't read anything. You can't read anything, understand it either. Like, we were confused on how to get tickets for a lot of the stuff because it was all in German, and it's like, what are we doing? Yeah, that was one of the low parts for us, was that we couldn't understand what we were doing. We didn't know a lot of... Now that I think about this isn't really a low, it's more of an observation. Kind of disappointed, but yeah, at the same time, the castles were cool, but they all look the same. Like, there's maybe one or two rooms that are different, like, in the Hofburg Palace, there's some, like, Oriental-themed rooms, and it's like, those were cool, but, like, all the other rooms look the exact same. They look the same as they do in England. They look the same as they did in a lot of other countries, too, and it was just kind of like, oh, I thought they were going to have more, I don't know, authentic Viennese type thing. Like the throne room, it's like, okay, well, every other castle looks like this. Same with the drawing rooms and the waiting rooms and the bedrooms. They all kind of look the same. So, I mean, probably going to keep going to a lot of castles, but not as many as we did in the past, just for the fact that they are all the same. Now, at the time we went, I think it was like fall there, but it's always, it wasn't always. It was cold and rainy for a lot of the part that we were in Vienna. Obviously one day it was just full on rain. Last day we were there, it was really cold. We ended up walking back to our hotel that day, but it was really cold. It was cold, windy. It wasn't really rainy, it was more sprinkling, but it was cold. And then, the very first day we were there though, it was actually kind of hot walking back. I don't know, it was weird, but the weather was kind of like not the greatest as it could have been. But, I mean, we did a lot of the inside stuff, which is where most of it was, so I guess that doesn't really matter that much. So for my tips is going to be the next one. I don't have a lot, but here's some. Explore. That's my first tip. It's just explore. Go out and see the rest of the country. And go out and see the city. It's actually really pretty and it's really cool there. I can't vouch for all of, like, the, out of the city stuff, but I'm pretty sure if it was anything like it was in Switzerland, it was cool. Ready to do a lot of walking. We walked a lot, and I mean a lot. We walked back to our hotel 2 days, and it took us like 2 hours every time. Well, then again, my dad kind of got us, made it seem a lot shorter than it was, but yeah, just be ready to do a lot of walking. I'm actually going to be doing Switzerland in this video too. I just thought it was fitting, being we went to both places at almost the same time, so I'm going to be doing Switzerland next. Overall, Switzerland, it was a good trip. I enjoyed it. It was really cool on the outside, so it was cool and it was very pretty. First of all, for the highs, my first high was definitely exploring the country. Switzerland's a very beautiful country. We found a lot of like hidden places that we didn't think we were gonna find. It's so green there. It reminded me a lot of Scotland because it was so green with the rolling hills, and they all live in their not all of them, but most of the houses we saw were traditional Swiss houses, which I was actually looking forward to seeing. Oberhofen is like the small town you would see in pictures and you think of when you hear Switzerland, and the lakes and the mountains there are absolutely stunning. Seeing the Alps in the distance, and then like the little secluded lakes with the mountains over it, and the houses and everything, it was just absolutely beautiful to see. We were just like awestruck at that. It was really cool. On our second day, we went out exploring in Switzerland. Actually, the castles there were really cool. In Oberhofen, I think it was just the Oberhofen Castle. That was really cool. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but yet at the same time, it was different. Really different from the stuff we saw from like the grand palaces. It was just, I think it was more of like a mansion or a manor for a smaller city, but it was different to see, which I enjoyed. And then Schloss Honig, I think it was. That was cool. It was like, it was so grand, and all the furniture was like from that time period, and it was just really pretty inside. Like, it was beautiful because the way they had the furniture in the house, it was really cool being able to see that. And that was probably my favorite castle out of the entire trip. Austria, Switzerland, Budapest. It was all, yeah, that one was the one that took the cake. It wasn't super huge. It was just, the inside was so grand that it was the showstopper. The last part of the highs was the weather. The last 2 days we went exploring in Switzerland was absolutely beautiful. We had sunny weather. I mean, it was a little chilly out, but it was perfect. I mean, walking weather was great. It was sunny, which we were really concerned about, because we wanted good pictures, and we were like, oh no, if it's cloudy, it's gonna look horrible. But it wasn't cloudy. God is good. Everything was so awesome. Like, the sun was out. All I can say was that we had perfect weather. We always have great weather on our trips, and praise the Lord that we do, because everything has turned out great so far, and this is no exception. Now I'm going to be kind of going into the lows. I mean, there was, but there wasn't some for Switzerland, but it shouldn't be too long unless I start rambling again. It was expensive there. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I've heard that it's like, oh, it's so expensive and stuff. At first we thought, oh, well, it's just because it matches the US dollar. Yeah, it's expensive. We got McDonald's. We got 3/4 pounder meals and a macaroon thing, and it cost 40 francs, which is the actual equivalent to 40 US dollars. It was outrageous. For burgers! $40 for burgers. Can you explain that? No. It was expensive, and the sweatshirts there was expensive too. I actually didn't think I was gonna get one, because it was like all the sweatshirts I picked up, I'm like, oh, this one's cool. $100. This one's really cool. $120. And it was like, how do you expect to actually pay for this stuff without like spending all your money? Finally found one that was a normal price sweatshirt, and it's actually really good quality, so I'm happy about that. We had found that in Chateau Chalon area, which was cool. But yeah, it's expensive, so if you want to spend some money on souvenirs or food, better plan a little bit more for that. The newer part of Zurich was also kind of a letdown. We were expecting kind of like the older town, and just kind of like a mix of, obviously modern, because Zurich's going to be modern. It's the main city there. But we were just expecting a little bit better. It wasn't that clean and graffiti everywhere, but the old town of Zurich was nice. The newer part was not. So we were a little bit disappointed in that, especially being our first day there. We got off the train, it's the first thing you see, and it's just not that appealing. So we were disappointed about that, and now we know, just go to the other side. So that's one of my recommendations, just go to the old Zurich. Go across the bridge, go to old Zurich. Don't stay in the main city. My last low was that we didn't go out as far, to the other places in Switzerland sooner. We spent 2 days in Zurich, which we could have just done the old city in 1 day, and then we could have went out and we could have explored the rest of the country. We went to, I don't know what part we went to, but we didn't go out that far, which I kind of wish we did, because the further out you go, the more beautiful it gets. So if we go back again, we're going to be definitely just going and exploring the rest of it. We're just going to hit the ground running and go, because that's definitely something I wish we did, and I wish we went out sooner. The next thing I'm going to be going through is tips for Switzerland. Tip number 1, rent a car. You can take the public transportation system, but the train rides cost a lot of money. Yeah, they run on an honor system, but you still should pay, because was the right thing, but it costs a lot of money for one person to go from our hotel to the city. It costed a lot, and we didn't have to pay because we got these little vouchers from our hotel, so that was nice. But yeah, just rent a car. You can go so many other places. You have the freedom to go where you want, when you want, and you just don't have to worry about all the, like, am I gonna make this train? Where's my connection? How do I read this? What is this? Just take your time, go in your own car, and it's so much better. Honestly, it really is. Another tip, have your camera ready. I mean, it was actually really cool there. Like, it was almost like every time we turned a corner, it was like something new to take a picture of. And that I found very nice because we got used out of our cameras. We got fearful that we were going to run out of storage on our phones because we took so many pictures. But just always have your camera ready. Make sure you have space. And just videotape or... And that is it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back next week with another video, and see you then.